Am I the antagonist for not inviting my older brother to my wedding? I am 30 years old and marrying my fiancé, who is 29 years old in 2 months. I have 3 siblings, a 25-year-old brother named Sam, a 37-year-old sister named Sarah, and a 42-year-old brother named Jake. My mom got pregnant at 18 and gave birth to my eldest brother, Jake. Jake and I are half-siblings. Due to our age gap, I never really bonded with my eldest brother. When I was 6 years old, he went to college. He used to call our mom and dad, his stepdad, regularly to ask about me and my other siblings, but that's it. Just normal "how are you" and "what are you doing" conversations. We never really hung out with him. Only my sister Sarah was close to him. They used to talk a lot, unlike me and Sam. Whenever he visited us, he used to bring chocolates and gifts for us and take me and my other siblings to lunch and dinner. As I grew up, we started to drift apart. On the other hand, I have a very good relationship with my other siblings. Currently, Jake and I only talk like once a month. Now, to the main issue, I am getting married to the love of my life, and we have planned a small wedding. Nothing big or extravagant. We are saving for a home and honeymoon. Since it is a small wedding, both of us have decided to only invite close friends and family members. I have invited 4 friends: Mom, Dad, Sarah, Sam, and my grandmother from my father's side, the only grandparent alive. When I broke this news to the family, all hell broke loose. I was expecting my mom to be upset that I didn't invite my brother, but almost everyone was upset, including Sam, which I didn't expect. So it turns out Sam wanted to become a software engineer, and Jake is a software engineer. For that reason, he and Jake started to talk more, and Jake guided Sam in his journey of becoming a software engineer. I, on the other hand, am a lawyer. I didn't know they had reconnected. All of them are saying I cannot do this to Jake, and he is also family. I have talked to Jake, and he said he is fine with not being invited but would appreciate it if I reconsidered my decision, as he invited me to his wedding. My fiancé is fine with inviting Jake, but I think only people who should be part of the wedding are the ones who love and care about you. Congratulations on your upcoming wedding. It sounds like you have a cozy and intimate celebration planned, which is fantastic. When it comes to deciding on the guest list, it can be a tricky situation, especially when it involves family dynamics. It's understandable that your family members may have different opinions on who should be invited. While it's nice that Jake reached out about potentially being included, ultimately, the decision lies with you and your fiancé. Your reasoning about inviting those who love and care about you is completely valid. At the end of the day, weddings are about celebrating the love between you and your partner. It's important to prioritize your own happiness and comfort when it comes to who you choose to share that special day with. It's great that your fiancé supports you in this decision, and I hope that the rest of your family can understand and respect your choice. Cheers to a wonderful wedding day ahead. Am I the antagonist for telling my dad and stepmom that I don't have to put up with their crap? I had made plans the day before to go see my mother and my stepfather, who came to visit me from another country, 9 hours away by plane. I have a very friendly and respectful relationship with them, and I love them very much. It was a 40-minute drive from where they stayed to where I was, school. They were going to pick me up to go hang out. I received a text from my stepmother 5 minutes before my mother and stepfather were going to come and pick me up. The text said that she needs me to stay with her 9-year-old daughter from 4 to 6 p.m. Then I texted her saying that my mother and stepfather are 5 minutes away from picking me up to go hang out, and I wasn't sure if I'd be able to make it on time, but I would try to come before 4 p.m. It was about 1:20 p.m. and my stepmother told me to cancel my plans and tell my mother to essentially turn around and drive home another 35 minutes, or tell them to wait until 6 p.m. and go then. I told her that is kind of disrespectful towards them, and I can't tell them to turn around. I went to hang out with them, then came home at 3:50 p.m. She left for whatever she needed to do. My father took my 6-year-old brother for his lessons in person, which is why he couldn't stay with my 9-year-old sister. It turns out that the reason why my sister couldn't come with my father and my brother is that she had her online French tutor lesson. Then when I came down to eat dinner, my stepmother tells me that I have to let them know of my plans beforehand because she always assumes I'm free after school. I said that it's wrong to just assume I'm free and build your plans on that. She said it was urgent. I call BS because she has a history of having plans and knowing all the details beforehand and just not telling me until the last minute. I said that next time they should 1, not assume I'm always free, and 2, if they need my help, tell me ahead of time. Not only that, but both my father and my stepmother demand help from me. They never ask for help, they just tell me to do stuff. I told them that I have no issue with helping, but I would appreciate it if you asked for help instead of rudely telling me what to do. To their children, they always ask for help, never demand. Also, I told my stepmother that in this situation telling my mother and stepfather to turn around or wait was inappropriate and rude. She said she doesn't care. Then my father told me that I have till the end of the day to decide where I want to live. Either with him but by his rules, meaning they tell me what to do and I have to report everything I plan to do, or go live with my mother and stepfather. They plan on moving to Canada closer to the summer this year but plan to leave on the 6th of April. So if I choose to live with them, I have to leave school and move back to Ukraine, where my mother and stepfather live. Is it normal to never ask for help and just demand? Being so rude to me and my mother and stepfather? I do well in school, never get in trouble, never go hang out with friends late at night, I don't smoke, I don't drink yet, I'm still a bad son. Ah, the classic ultimatum of live with me by my rules or live with someone else. It's like a twisted game of house where the stakes are way too high. Your stepmother's last-minute requests and demands are like a surprise pop quiz that you didn't study for. But hey, at least you aced the no smoking, no drinking, straight A student part of the test, right? In all seriousness, it's not cool to be treated like a personal assistant on call 24/7, especially when it disrupts your plans with loved ones. Asking nicely goes a long way, just like how they do with their own kids. And telling your mom and stepdad to circle the block for a couple of hours? That's a plot twist even Hollywood couldn't come up with. If they're serious about this whole my way or the highway deal, maybe it's time to pack your bags and head towards the Great White North. Who knows, maybe Canada's polite reputation will rub off on your family. Or you could stick to your guns and stand up for yourself, one polite request at a time. Either way, here's to hoping your next family drama comes with a little less theatrics and a lot more respect. Cheers! Am I the antagonist for texting my boss too early in the morning? So I've been sick the past few days. I worked Monday, but started getting worse as the day went on. By the time I got home Monday, I had a fever and went to bed very early hoping to sleep it off by the morning. I slept from 5 p.m. to 3 a.m., but woke up miserable Tuesday morning. I tried to get myself together but couldn't, so at 3:52 a.m. I texted my boss that I wouldn't make it in. And yes, that is early, but for context, our workday starts at 6:30 a.m. I know, because he has told me that he wakes up at 4 a.m. every day, and my boss has even texted me at 4 a.m. before. I don't wake up until 5 a.m. So I figured a text 6 minutes before he usually wakes up wouldn't be anything to be concerned about. He responded to me in less than a minute, so I went back to bed and slept all day. Today, Wednesday, I still am sick but don't have a fever, so I'm back at work. My boss ended up telling me you can't text me at 3 a.m. anymore. I was kinda confused and apologized immediately. He elaborated and said that my text woke him and his wife up. I apologized again, and I really do feel bad for waking them, but he was almost upset at me for a single text 6 minutes before his alarms go off and surely wakes them both. He told me that he felt bad having to respond to me while in bed, and that his wife was asking questions, and instead of him telling her it was me, and that I was just calling off sick. He said he told her it's a female at work who is not feeling well. I honestly feel like he's making this more weird than it is. I've met his wife once before and talked to her on the phone 2 or 3 times when my boss was out sick for a very long stretch of time. She literally knows me. I wouldn't say he's angry at me, but he seemed pretty passionate about it and kinda aggressive. I've worked here for about 8 months now and feel like I know him pretty well. We get along good and everything. My other point, if you and your spouse are such light sleepers that a single text wakes you both up, why do you have your ringer on? I keep mine off almost 24/7. A text wouldn't wake me, but if it would, I'd be extra sure to keep the volume off. I do feel really bad, but I feel like he's taking out some anger on me. For what? I don't know. Am I the jerk or is he acting strange? It sounds like you've stumbled into a bit of a sticky situation, or should I say an early morning fever dream. While your boss may have been a bit grumpy about being woken up by your text, it seems like a simple misunderstanding blown out of proportion. Perhaps next time you can preface your message with a gentle sorry for waking you up at the crack of dawn to avoid stirring the sleepy beast. As for your boss's reaction, it may just be a case of morning grogginess getting the best of him. Keep the peace, stay considerate, and maybe invest in some noise-canceling sleep masks for the whole household. And remember, in the battle of the early morning texts, it's always better to hit snooze on conflicts than to awaken a managerial monster. Am I the antagonist for telling my parents that my sibling is using drugs? A few months ago, I found out my female 16 years old brother, male 22 years old, is using hard drugs such as heroin, meth, and cocaine. Initially, I was in disbelief, but after further thought, I confronted my brother, who admitted to his drug use. Living in a country where drug use is illegal and costly only added to my concern. I attempted to persuade him to stop and seek help, as his behavior during family dinners was concerning. About a week ago, I informed him that we needed to have a serious discussion at his place. I urged him to quit and promised to support him, but also warned him of involving our parents if he refused. This led to a heated argument, and I was asked to leave. Upon returning home, I shared the situation with my parents, leading us to confront my brother at his place where he was caught using drugs. This deeply affected my parents, resulting in my mom crying and my dad expressing anger. Currently, my brother refuses to communicate with me, only to blame me for the situation. I regret the turmoil he is going through and wish I hadn't involved my parents, though I felt I had no other option. Update: my brother has moved in with us as my parents no longer trust him to be alone. I disclosed the situation to my parents out of concern for my brother's well-being, rather than the legality or cost of the drugs. Hey there, it sounds like you've been caught in quite a tricky situation. Dealing with a sibling's drug use is no laughing matter, and it's commendable that you tried to address the issue head-on. However, involving your parents may have added some extra spice to the mix. Remember, despite any mayhem, your intention was to help your brother. It's understandable that he's feeling a bit sour about the situation. Hopefully, with your support and your parents' supervision, things will start to simmer down. Just keep in mind that you were just trying to look out for your brother's well-being, not aiming to create a family drama series. Hang in there! Am I the antagonist for expecting to have my kid's sitter watch them at a wedding? I am an experienced wedding planner, 14 years, who offered to help a close family friend with her wedding. I have known the bride her entire life and offered a 50% discount on my planning services and waived travel fees, destination wedding, given I was also invited to attend. I have been planning with her for over a year, and the wedding is 3 months away. It is a destination wedding for nearly everyone attending, myself included. I have gone above and beyond to help her given our personal connection, including planning 2 other wedding weekend events not in our contract, replanning the entire wedding 9 months out because she decided to change locations, as well as dealing with communication from her well outside of my typical business hours, even after setting firm boundaries. My husband, my mom and I have all been invited to the wedding. I also have 2 toddlers, 3 years old, 4 years old, who have to travel with us as we would be gone for 4 days. Last summer, I had a conversation with the bride about getting sitter recommendations from her friends locally for our kids, so we could have someone watch them in a room at the venue, as I was not comfortable with them being watched by a stranger 45 minutes away from me in another state. I made travel arrangements for my family, and I to the tune of close to $4,000. Flights, accommodations, rental car, etc. During a recent conversation, I mentioned the kids coming with us and the bride acted surprised, but didn't say anything one way or the other. Fast forward a week and she reached out asking if I was planning to have the kids at the venue. I said yes, that they would be watched in one of the back rooms by the sitter so they would be nearby, and so I would know they were safe, as I had mentioned 7 months prior. The bride then says that she told other family members they could not bring their kids, and that she did not want to set a double standard by allowing me to bring mine. No exceptions. I know for a fact that she does not have family members with young children, so this was confusing to me. She said I should have asked her and not assumed, but I pointed out that I'd been planning with her for over a year, and not once was anything about kids mentioned anywhere. Not in save the dates, invites, wedding website, conversation, etc. The bride has a history of being stubborn and narcissistic, and it became clear she was not going to make an exception for me, so I rescinded my husband's RSVP and now have to cancel their non-refundable flights, about $2,000, and go alone to attend the wedding. I feel like I have gone above and beyond for her as a friend and wedding planner, and the least she could do is to allow me to have my kids watched on-site, not attend or participate in any way. As a wedding planner, I am aware that kids at weddings are a tricky subject, and I absolutely understand not wanting them at the event itself, but I would have ensured they remained corralled in the back area fully separate from guest view. Am I the asshole? While it sounds like you have gone to great lengths to support your friend both professionally and personally, it seems like there may have been a breakdown in communication regarding the presence of children at the wedding. Your dedication to helping with the wedding preparations is commendable, but it's also important to respect the bride's wishes for her special day. It's unfortunate that the situation has led to your family having to cancel their travel plans and that you will now have to attend the wedding alone. It's understandable that you would want your children to be close by and safe during the event, but ultimately it's the bride's prerogative to set the guidelines for her wedding day. It might be a good idea to have a candid conversation with the bride to express your feelings and hopefully come to a resolution that works for both of you. In the end, it's a delicate balancing act between professional obligations and personal relationships. While it may be a frustrating and costly situation, it's important to handle it with grace and understanding. Am I the antagonist for wanting to kick out my sibling and their family after they've been nightmare house guests? My sibling Ellis recently got a job in my city that required an immediate start. He didn't have the time or money to find a place on such notice, and his partner Taylor just had a baby 7 months ago, so he didn't want to leave her alone. So he asked if they could stay at my place for a couple of months to get situated. Ellis is a responsible individual who doesn't take advantage of people, so I felt okay saying yes. Ellis, Taylor, their 7-month-old baby, and Taylor's daughter all moved in. Before they arrived, I made it clear that I would not tolerate them doing any sleep training or cry-it-out methods with the baby. If the baby cries, they need to make an immediate and reasonable effort to soothe him. The other rule was that Taylor was responsible for any damages her daughter caused in the house, which should be obvious, but we've had previous incidents. The final rule was that neither my husband nor I would be providing any childcare. I am a stay-at-home mom to my own daughter and also run a side business, and my husband works very hard. Just because we are home doesn't mean we are available to provide childcare. I believed it went without saying that they would be responsible for themselves in all other aspects. They agreed to all the conditions and moved in. It took 2 weeks for things to deteriorate. There were times when I had to wake up Taylor and Ellis in the middle of the night to tend to the baby. Taylor's daughter has also not adjusted well to the move and is constantly pretending to be sick to avoid going to school. Then, because she's not actually ill, she spends the day causing chaos. Taylor has been pestering me to help her with the kids, despite agreeing that she wouldn't. She has also assumed that she and her kids would be cooked for and the house cleaned. It was 2 weeks until I started getting annoyed and 2 more weeks until I reached my breaking point. The final straw was earlier this week. I was picking up my daughter early from school and heading out. Taylor asked me to take her daughter with me. She claimed to be overwhelmed with tasks, the baby was fussy, and she needed a break. I declined, Taylor swore at me, and I left. Upon returning a few hours later, the first thing I heard was the baby crying. I searched the house and found no sign of Taylor. Her daughter was sitting on the couch watching TV and crying, and the kitchen was a mess with no trace of Taylor. I eventually found her locked in a closet, saying she couldn't handle it and needed a break. I called Ellis and told him to return home. I sat them down and informed them they had to leave. I offered to contribute towards a hotel stay, but I couldn't continue this way. Ellis believes I'm being unreasonable by going back on our agreement, but he and Taylor haven't held up their end. I feel bad because I don't want to stress Ellis out with his new job, but I am at my wit's end. I despise being in my own home. Am I the a-hole for standing my ground? Sister, it sounds like you've been hosting a whole circus in your own home. I mean, it's one thing to open your doors to family in need, but it's another to let them trample all over your rules and boundaries like a herd of elephants. Of course, Ellis is upset about having to pack up and find a new place, but seriously, it sounds like you'd have better luck hosting a group of wild monkeys than dealing with this chaos. Your decision to stand your ground and boot them out is totally justified. After all, your sanity and peace of mind are worth more than any fleeting discomfort Ellis may feel. Time to bid farewell to the circus and reclaim your home sweet home. Thanks for watching. When you subscribe, make sure to hit the bell to turn on notifications so you never miss a video. To finish listening to all the stories, check out the playlist in the description.